Are you talking yourself into poorer health? Hi, my name's Bernice Hunt and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory challenges, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a school teacher for over 30 years, I've read a lot of stories to children, and one of the books I read was about a little engine that pushed itself up this enormous hill by talking to himself. He kept saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And with that positive attitude, he made it over that mountain against all odds. And so that's an example of what some people say what they mean when they say attitude is everything. So did you catch my other video? I did a video a few days ago about attitude, and it was talking about how attitude is a choice. Okay, it's a choice that we make, and it influences our brain health, either in a good way or in a not so good way. So if you missed that video, you can still catch it on my YouTube channel, Keep Your Brain Sharp, on my Facebook page, and just go check it out. And it's talking about positive thinking as well. But today, I wanted to talk about self-talk and also about how you can recognize when the things that you're saying to yourself are not helping your brain. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, because this stuff is science-based. It does make a difference what you say, whether you're saying it out loud or whether you're saying it internally in your thought life. It makes a big difference. So you know they say that we have over 60,000 thoughts a day. The average person, that's a lot of thinking, and most of that thinking is talking to yourself. And a lot of those thoughts that you have, the things that you're saying to yourself, are not positive. They said a lot of it is negative thoughts. We want to talk about that. Now, some people say, well, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. That's just how I'm put together. And you know, research has something to say about that too, because they say that only 30% is due to your genetic makeup. Your happy thoughts, your happy expressions and stuff are controlled 30% by your genetic makeup. So you all know those people, and they're always happy. They're just happy-go-lucky, and they're always in a good mood. They love everybody. They're always smiling. They never have a bad day. All that stuff. You know, you met them. You may be one of those people. I'm not exactly, I don't think, one of them. But anyway, I know a lot of people who are, and you like to be around them because that's how they are. But that's only coming from 30% of the possible 100% that's making up their makeup. So where is the other 70% coming from? It's coming from choices that you are making. There's intentional things that you do that's going to make your attitude. One of them is what thoughts you're thinking. The other one is how you're turning those genes on or off. Okay, so you have control over that, and that's really the good news, because it's a learned skill. It's not just who you are. 30% of it may be who you are, but even with that, those genes can be turned on and off to make it all more positive if you work on it. Okay, so what kind of things am I talking about doing? I'm talking about affecting your genes with your sleep, with your diet, with your exercise, and with your de-stressing techniques. That's going to affect whether you're turning on and off, turning off the bad ones, turning on the good ones that give you a more positive outlook. The other side of it, like I said, is your thought life. And with that, we're talking about positive self-talk, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. It's positive self-talk. We're also talking about positive peer influences. You want to be around the people that are doing positive thinking and positive attitudes. You don't want to be around those people that are going to, like Monk says, they're bringing me down. They're bringing me down. You don't want to be around those people that are bringing you down, okay? You know how they talk about you are the composite of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, okay? And that has something to do with your thinking, who you're around. So positive peer influences is important. Also, the other thing is what I call purposeful living. And that's what, a lot of this comes from biblical principles in terms of loving other people or loving on other people, forgiveness, forgiving other people, and also caring about people and serving other people, having something purposeful about your life and how you interact with people. Those things, the positive self-talk, the positive peer influences, and your purposeful living is going to affect your thought life. And we talked in the other video about how your attitudes comes from what you think, what thoughts are going through your head. Okay. So those things really matter. Those things we need to do. They have a term that they use. It's called hot reactors. Hot reactors are people that have a hard time letting go of holding grudges. You know, they grab onto that bitterness. They grab onto that resentment or hostility or anger or cynicism or whatever it is. They have a hard time letting that go. They have a hard time shrugging things off, letting things roll off their back. You know, they get upset really easily. They're easily offended. They say 20% of the population lean that way. Okay. So if you're one of those people, that makes it even more important that you grab hold of controlling your thought life and eating the right things and exercising and sleeping, doing all those things to get hold of that. Because guess what? Research also says from that, those 20% of the population, those hot reactors, studies show that they're 5 more times likely to have heart disease before they turn 50. 5 more times. That's a 500% greater risk of having heart problems before they're 50 because they're not controlling that. And if they're high reactors, they need to be more assertive and more intentional on learning to control that. But the other thing is also those same hot reactors, that same 20% of the population, have a 7 times more chance of dying before they're 50. 700% greater risk of dying before they're 50. So you see how your thought life, your attitudes, your positive thinking affects your body. It affects you physically and physiologically. It affects your mental health. It affects your brain health. It affects your physical health, your body, and it affects your longevity. And it's in your control. 70% of it is not related to your genetic makeup. Okay, so it's something that you really should think about, because the bottom line is stinking thinking kills brain cells and promotes disease in your body. And that's very, very important. So what are the things you do? Okay, like we talked about, you intentionally work on changing your expression of your genes, and that's through your sleep and your exercise and your diet and your de-stressing technique that you may, use. And you also work on your thought processes. Okay, so I can't leave without talking about ants. Working with or being instructed by Dr. Amen, he has this thing called ants. And I don't remember if he actually created it himself or if he just adopted it from someone else. But anyway, he was instructing us on ants. And what that is that's automatic negative thoughts that automatically come to you in certain situations, and they're negative. And you need, he tells it, killing your ants. Okay. And there's 9 of them that he talks about. It's really, really important that you, first of all, know what they are, identify them when you see them coming into your thought processes, identify what's happening, and then work on combating that. Because guess what? Your thoughts do not always tell the truth. Your thoughts can lie. Just because you're thinking it doesn't make it so. And so when a thought comes to your mind, part of controlling those ants is to ask yourself, is that really true? Is that really true? Like one of the ants is the concept of always and never, absolutes. He always does this, or she never does it. Is that really true? They always do it every single time, or they never do it. You think about it. That's not really true. They may do it a lot, or they may do it frequently, but they don't always. So that helps calm you down and pull you off of that. Okay. That's one of the ants. But anyway, there's 9 of them. So it's really important that you turn to positive self-talk. Confront those ants. When you think something, you blame people for things. That's another thing, blaming someone for something. And, step back and try to take some of the responsibility in that, or give them a break, kind of thing. But, do those things because you want to become a more positive thinking person. So if you're interested in the ants, I do have a list of them in my research library on my website, keepyourbrainsharp.com. So you can go there. There's a list of them and it explains them for you so you'll know what they are. So you can start working on those so you can recognize them when they pop up in your brain and call them out. Okay. So that would be wonderful because you know what I always say, your brain's destiny is in your hands.